good morning everybody. I haven't filmed in a long time, so I'm excited to get this done. Today I am making a chicken parm with a spaghetti or rigatoni. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna probably let my dinner guests decide what pasta it's gonna be on the side. As typical, I have my ingredients on the left. I'm moving to the right as I use them. Hopefully this will not set off my smoke alarm. Because I don't have any pancetta, so I'm gonna brown up some bacon. I diced up this week some bacon to use. Yeah, it's gonna set off my smoke alarm. Let me get my back door open. Bacon and hamburgers in my house. The one thing that constantly set off the smoke alarm. I don't know why, they just do. I guess it's probably because they cook at a high temperature and create smoke. And my smoke alarm is right over there. So I'm just kind of rendering the fat out of this bacon. I'm not going to leave the fat on the sauce. I just want that smoky flavor from the bacon. I'm making a quick sauce today. So this is a sauce where I'll use a jar sauce. And I will add my own other ingredients to it to make it mine. The chicken parm, you can either make it low carb or you can just have it regular. Today I'm just having it regular since I'm serving this pasta. If I was doing it, if this was one of my low carb days, then I would make it with pork rinds and Parmesan cheese, and I will show that at another time. But today is just Sunday dinner with friends, so it's just going to be regular old-fashioned chicken parm with breadcrumbs. I've already got the chicken made. Let me get a bowl or a plate here. I've already got the chicken. As you know, I do a lot of prepping. So the chicken is already cooked and ready to go. It has been breaded. It has been frozen. And then it'll be lightly fried this afternoon right before dinner. That's my bacon bit. I will save that for another thing. Into this bowl now, I'm going to add some diced peppers and onions that I had in my fridge. Again, I'm trying to use up everything. It's Sunday. I'm trying to use up everything that I had cut out for the week and can use in my quick sauce. You know, twice a year I make pasta sauce, and they go through the whole, oh, it cooks for 2 days, you stir the sauce every 20 minutes. And then I freeze it, and it's nice to have. But I'm out of it right now because I didn't make any more this winter. I had other things going on between work and just family stuff. So I'm making a quick sauce. I want this sauce to be nice and flavorful, and not that jar sauce isn't flavorful, but I just like to make it my own. I think most people do that. You always add something. You know, the jar sauce gives you the base. It gives you all the seasonings you need. It gives you the, you know, the tomato paste, the tomato sauce. So my favorite brand of sauce to use is this Muir Glen Organic. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than Rayo's. And it only has 6 grams of carbs in it per serving, and a serving is a half a cup. Which most people don't eat a full half a cup when they eat pasta. And that jar right there will make 2 full meals. It'll make tonight's chicken parm with either pasta, rigatoni, or spaghetti. And then I'll reserve it for during the week, what's left, and I will figure out something to make with it during the week. I could use it as a pizza sauce. Although pizza sauce is typically raw tomatoes. I don't know if anybody knows the difference between pasta and pizza. Pasta sauce is cooked. Pizza sauce is typically raw, and because it's baked in the oven with the pizza. Alright, so we got the onions sweated and the peppers sweated. I don't like to add my garlic until the onions have become partially translucent or sweated. And I use a jarred garlic simply because I don't use enough garlic to keep a head viable for long, so I use jarred garlic. Dump that in, give it a good stir. Garlic burns quickly, and I don't want it to burn. And now I'm going to add, something special to give this my flavor. And I will show you what it is after. This is something that I have to either find it on Amazon, or I have to go to Wegmans to get it, or another higher end grocery store. It is Cento cherry tomatoes in a can. They're really sweet. They have a really great flavor. They are cherry tomatoes, as you can see. This was a great find for me. I bought a case on Amazon. I use it when I make my winter and summer sauce. It's great to make pizza sauce with, by the way. You just pour them into a food processor or a blender with all your other nice, wonderful herbs and spices. And then you can blend it up to make your raw pizza sauce. But in a quick sauce, you can't beat it. So now I'm going to add my merglen. Oops, and it's splattering. I am going to put a little water in this jar. Get all the sauce off, and it's probably a 1/4 cup. I'm going to shake the jar. I'm going to pour that in. Just because between the cherry tomatoes and this, it's really thick. I'm going to put that back there. I will use that jar for oil during the week. I've got one in the fridge with bacon fat, because you know we all need bacon grease. And then this will just cook on, I'm going to put it on the kitchen burner instead of this little portable burner. This will cook for the next hour at a very low temperature. I'm adding grated Parmesan cheese, just the jar stuff, because it's adding a little bit of flavor, some salt. It's also working as a thickening agent for later in the process. It won't thicken it right now, but later when it's boiled down or simmered down, it will thicken it. And it adds just that wonderful little bit of flavor that makes the sauce your own. Again, the cherry tomatoes are in here doing the same thing. So pasta-wise, I am going to use, either bucatini, everything's falling, bucatini, which is like spaghetti. It's thicker, it's hollow, so it takes up a really good amount of sauce in the pasta itself. Lisa turned me onto this. I had never heard of bucatini before, and I am a huge fan now of bucatini. Barilla is the only place that I've found that makes it. The other pasta choice for tonight is Rao's penne ricotta. Rao's makes a good pasta. It's a little bit more expensive. It's a little higher end than Barilla and Ronzoni. So, little fun fact, I live outside of Winchester, Virginia, and Ronzoni makes probably 1/4 of their pasta. I'm not sure which ones. They make 1/4 of their pasta here in Winchester. There's a lot of companies, I'm finding, large companies, that work with factories here in Winchester. RC Cola has a plant. Rubbermaid has a plant. Trex, the garden deck people, I have just built their corporate headquarters here. So Winchester is listed as the fastest growing community in the Virginia area, in the state of Virginia. And Stephen City is a little burb outside of Winchester. We have about 3,500 residents now. In the last 2 years, we've gained some. We are probably landlocked space-wise, land-wise, because it is a small area, and unless you're destroying farms, you're not going to have a lot of place to build here in Stephen City, but Winchester still has room to grow, so they're tearing down a lot of old places and building new. So just a fun fact, Ronzoni makes 1/4 of their pasta here. I haven't found bucatini by Ronzoni yet, so maybe that's something I need to write them and say, hey, try making some bucatini. It is really good. If you've never tried bucatini, there's a little sample of what it looks like on the box when you see it in the grocery store. It looks like spaghetti, but it's actually a little tube, and they have the little picture of the end here. It cooks in the same amount of time, 8 to 12 minutes, depending on how you like it, and it cooks exactly the same as spaghetti. It's just a really unique pasta, and the Barilla has great flavor, actually has flavor, and it holds sauce really well. So that's it for right now. I'm going to come around, go on pause, and then when I make the chicken parm this afternoon, I will do a little diagram or sample of that. Thanks, everyone. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and it's about 2 hours after I made the sauce. The sauce is sitting here. It's complete, ready to go. I did take a picture of it that I will include on the end of the video. What I've done in the past 2 hours is clean the house a little bit and started figuring out what to finish up for dinner. So last weekend we had spaghetti and meatballs with Italian sausage, and Lisa made this wonderful garlic bread. So I'm going to, she froze some of it for us, and so I'm going to doctor it up a bit and make garlic bread for this afternoon's dinner. So it still has the toppings that she put on it, which is the garlic, the butter, salt, pepper, and I think that's all that she put on it. It was garlic, butter, and salt, pepper, and butter. So what I'm adding right now is a very thin layer of Duke's mayonnaise. I know, mayonnaise on garlic bread, who, you know, go ahead, scream everybody, but it really is good, and it adds a really light, creamy texture to the garlic bread that it wouldn't normally have, and it just makes it that much better. So then I'm going to put a slice, I'm using provolone, and so this is still frozen. I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap, and when I bake my chicken parm this afternoon, I'm going to put this in there with it at 350, and this will bake for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I will put it under the broiler for like 2 or 3 minutes just to brown up and crisp up the top. So chicken parm. I wanted to show you one of my prepping tips that I use. When I buy chicken from my local butchers, Gore's, who I adore, and I just think they have the best meat and poultry and pork available, I buy 8 to 10 pounds at a time. For me, it just makes it easier down the road. I might freeze 4 pounds of it just the way it is. And then I take some and I bread it. So this is actually chicken cordon bleu that I'm going to eat during the week. So it's breaded chicken breast, and it's stuffed with Swiss cheese and ham. And then I individually wrap them. They're fully prepared, except they're not cooked. So I wrap them like this. 2 hours before I'm going to use them, I pull them out, let them thaw a little bit, but not completely. Put them on a baking sheet, spray them with olive oil or coconut oil, whichever oil you choose, and then bake them at 350 until they reach 160 internally. Then I would serve them with hollandaise sauce over them. The chicken breast, let me put this back in the freezer. So this is another meal that's prepped and ready to go. All it needs to do is bake. The chicken breast that I used today, same process. I did all of the breading with the flour, cornstarch, egg, and panko breadcrumbs. Wrapped them each individually, froze them, pulled them out this morning, and I just fried them up. And I'm going to make the parm with them now. These are probably 85 to 90% cooked. I do want to leave a little bit raw, not too much, but a little bit that'll finish off cooking in the oven at 350 for about 20-25 minutes. And the reason I want to do that is I don't want to overcook. So frying completely and then baking, and chicken breasts are not the tenderest things in the world. You can end up overcooking by accident. Okay, so I've got all 4 chicken breasts on my baking sheet. I use a 1/4 baking sheet from USA Pans. It's a non-stick stainless steel baking sheet. I have a sheet of parchment paper on it, and that's just to help for cleanup later down the road. And I've got my 4 chicken breasts that are still pretty hot. By the way, these tongs that I use are 12-inch surgical tweezers. And they are the best thing since sliced bread. You can get them on Amazon. I think they're better than the larger tongs because they're more precise. You can grab things easier. They hold on to things. I mean, it's not going anywhere. They have the little grippies on the inside that help them hold on to the food. And I just adore these things. I think they're great. So to make chicken parm, I've got my sauce, I've got my chicken, I've got 3 cheeses that I use. I've got mozzarella, provolone, and then I've got flaked Parmesan. I do have a block of parm in the fridge that I use to grate on top of the pasta when we're ready to eat the pasta. This flake I keep on hand for Caesar salads. And so I figured today would be a great day to use it on the chicken parm. So I'm going to move my sauce over here. And remember, this is my dance pan. I've talked about it before. It's the one that has the top that works as a trivet for the pot, so it doesn't get hot on your countertop. So I'm going to stir that up really quick, and then I'm going to ditch my wooden spoon. By the way, don't use those in the dishwasher. Use your wooden spoons by hand. Wash them by hand. It's just better. Dishwashers will end up drying out the wood and cracking the wood. Wooden spoons don't last that long to start with. If you're worried about bacteria and stuff, I replace mine every 3 months. And I've converted to bamboo since it's more sustainable, and it's just as good. So now I've got my ladle full of pasta sauce, which I'm going to pour over my chicken breast. I'm not soaking the breast, I'm just putting a nice little ladle full over the top. And I'm going to put that on each breast. Okay. There's other things that you could add to this if you wanted to. I'm going to move this sauce back onto the stove, where I'll continue to keep it warm for dinner, which is in about 2.5 hours. So I'm going to put that back on low and let it get warm. I was saying there's things that you could add to this. You could add pepperoni slices to the top if you wanted to. You could add Italian sausage slices to the top, salami slices, whatever you want. You could add ricotta cheese on top, and then put the mozzarella and the provolone on top of that. There's many, many different ways of preparing this, and I always recommend that when you're cooking something, you cook it to your taste, because that's what's going to make you happy. And hopefully it'll also be what make your guests happy. So let's go ahead and put the Parmesan on top, or I'm sorry, the mozzarella on top first. I'm not using a ton of cheese. This is not about the mozzarella or the provolone. This is Parmesan chicken. So this just gives it a little creaminess in the bite. Okay. I'm going to cover each piece with the mozzarella, and as you can see, I used a little under half a cup of mozzarella. I've got 3 slices of provolone, so what I'm going to do is cut these, because I did not account for making the garlic bread. I would have had enough provolone individually, but I want to make the garlic bread. I'm going to put 1 slice on top of each breast, like that. And again, remember, this is not about the cheese. This is about the chicken and the sauce. It's all the blends. So then I'm going to put 1 extra slice on top like that. So they're each getting 3/4 of a slice of cheese, basically, of provolone. And that's deli sliced, store-bought deli sliced. All right. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Parmesan on top of each slice. So again, not about the cheese. This is the chicken, the sauce, and the cheese combination. I think this 3 cheese combination is really good. You could use a smoked provolone. I'm not a big fan of smoked provolone because it adds that a little bit of a smoky flavor, which I don't necessarily want on my chicken parm. I wanted it in my sauce a little bit. That's why I used the bacon, but not necessarily overpowering. All right, so all 4 chicken parms are ready. They're going to sit here. I will bake them in 2 hours. I will put them in the oven at 350. Start them at 325, move them up to 350. Right before serving, I will put them under the broiler to make sure the cheese is all brown and crispy. I still haven't decided on the pasta that I'm serving. It's either the bucatini, or the Rayo's penne rigate, either one. But this is going to be a really, really good meal, and I hope everybody's going to be happy. We will have leftovers, which is okay. They will be put to good use. So that's it for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the tips of breading the chicken, wrapping it in cellophane and freezing it. It'll save you a lot of time in the future, and it stops you from having to buy those store-bought frozen chicken breasts. You can do the same with nuggets and tenderloins. I think it just gives you a better quality. I get my chicken breasts from the local butcher. They are not injected with saline, which, by the way, most of the grocery store chicken breasts that you see that are huge are injected with saline. So there's a lot of salt added to them. So these are local butcher, Gores, love them. And I'm hoping that everybody will enjoy dinner. That's it for now. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.